417, ready. Average Joe's ready. Set. Dodgeball.
Look at you, sure. I'm the captain.
Captain James Howe!
Ahoy there. Welcome to Rated Arg. Thank you for joining us on another adventure as we chart our course through the realms of cinematic piracy. Today, we're going to grab life by the balls as we take a slight detour to take a look at Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball, a true underdog story. My name is Ryan. Please join me in welcoming my co-captains Christian and Braxton. Guys, how's it going?
Very good.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. The 5 Ds of dodgeball. I love it the first time that he says that too, where he's like, the 5 Ds of dodgeball. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
Yeah, he looks
There's
around.
like a slight pause for
Yeah.
a second. Like, yeah.
We laughed a lot watching this, and we had seen it all somewhat recently, I believe.
Yeah.
But man, it made us laugh a lot.
Dude, it was super funny. I mean, there were several times when we watched this last night that like Braxton and I are sitting
When did
in
we
his
have to
house.
pause it?
We had to
what
pause
was
it
that
several
point?
times. The biggest one though is when Patches O'Houlihan like comes in
Oh,
on
yeah,
his scooter and
he's
takes a
not
big
weird,
deep
is he?
breath and says, "I love the smell of queef in the morning."
I love the smell of queef in the morning.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I didn't
So-
remember that.
Yeah, it was
I didn't remember that he
hilarious.
said that.
I think I almost cried. Like, no joke. And I've
It
watched
was
this
so
movie
good.
within the last like month or two. I don't know. Just, you know, sometimes you almost laugh harder when other people around you are also laughing very hard.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies for sure.
Why are we watching this? Can we get a?
I mean, yeah.
Let me ask
so,
this: do you think that this is the most adjacent of all the adjacent movies? Could it be argued that?
I don't. Maybe.
I think it could be based on the amount of total minutes dedicated to stuff related to pirates. It is the farthest away. But as far as the heart of a pirate, I think this is maybe the closest adjacent movie could be. Because I think we have a lot of respect for Steve the Pirate.
Oh, we definitely do. And I do want to go ahead and, you know, kind of briefly mention, I know this is a pirate podcast. This is a pirate movie podcast, more specifically. This is not a pirate movie at all. And like it, you know,
no
it's
form or
very
fashion.
apparent, like if you watch any of the movie, that it is not. But it does feature a pirate, which I would say some of these adjacent ones, or even maybe like pirate movies, very loosely pirate movies, have less of a pirate in them and involved in the movie than this one does. And it is Dodgeball, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, Steve the Pirate. I mean, it's an interesting take on a pirate adjacent movie, I think, for sure, because there is a pirate very prominently featured who is having some sort of an internal struggle towards the end of the movie as Vince Vaughn's character, Peter LaFleur, shoves him against a wall and says, "You are not a pirate." And then, you know, has some kind of complete like mental breakdown to where he's like, you know what, I thought about it. Maybe I'm not a pirate. And then he's
Yeah.
like, well, if you're not, then who am I going to share all this buried treasure with? And so, you know, that I think full circle comes back to where he is a pirate once again, because you do see him at the end in his full Steve the Pirate outfit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, in their commercial.
Yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Let's go ahead and get into Dodgeball here. So Dodgeball was released on June 18th, 2004 with a budget of $20 million, which it recouped in its opening weekend where it brought in $30 million. Worldwide total box office, Dodgeball brought in a total box office of $168 million. It has a runtime of 1 hour, 32 minutes. And honestly, this movie It absolutely flies by. And like the last 2 times that I've watched it, including last night, I was like, oh, once you get into the dodgeball, like this thing is moving and it's over.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like it is very, very quick.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I mean, I guess it did. This movie was very, very successful. It has a 72% critic score and a 76% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which for a comedy, I would say is a very high critic score. You know, a lot of times critics are not big fans of comedies. So 72% from the critics. I mean, it's pretty strong. IMDb has this at a 6.7 out of 10, and Letterboxd has this at a 3.2 out of 5. And I think that one may be the one that I was most surprised by, just because Dodgeball, I feel like, is just very widely loved for the most part. I was kind of surprised that a 3.2 was kind of where it landed on Letterboxd. I feel like, if anything, there would be like a crossover of like Letterboxd users and people who watch this on FX at some point. And there's like a strong like center of the X of that crossover where people would just like rate this 5 stars. And I feel like it would almost be skewed a little bit just because of how often that people would have watched it and how like nostalgic that it would be to watch it now. I know we're going to get into our ratings in a little bit, but how do you guys feel about that? That 3.2 on Letterboxd.
I'm proud of that.
You're proud of the 3.2?
Well, yeah, because it really makes me mad when like people rate comedies lower.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I gave this 5 stars. I'll just go ahead and put that out there on Letterboxd last night.
I think I'd give it a 4.5.
I mean, I'm kind of leaning 4.5.
Only because I'd want to save 5 to represent like the best comedies of all time, and I don't think this is that. But I think it's just below it, literally just below it.
I was between 4.5.
People need to rate
5,
comedies,
but
higher.
it's
like
I felt like it deserved a 5 with how hard that I laughed last night watching this.
Yeah, exactly. It succeeded in its goal, and this is one of those movies that, and I think you could argue it's partially nostalgia stuff, but I don't know. There's something about those 2000s comedies that the ending of it, like when it ends and the credits roll, you just feel good. And it's not. That's why I think maybe it's not so much nostalgia as people think, because it's not the feel good of like, oh yeah, I remember, because I watched Dodgeball like once when I was younger, maybe, but it's so, the ending is so straightforward and happy, and then it just ends. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's that feeling of like, you know, you watch it in an afternoon and it ends at like 4 o'clock or something, and then you go on with the rest of your day, but you feel good because you just watched the silly comedy.
But I think, I think one thing that really stands out about this one and the ending is like how abruptly it goes from these guys are on like a super big high to rolling the credits and kind of having like a slight little thing about, you know, the new Average Joes with Vince Vaughn like walking and showing off the gym. And then it cuts to the villain of the movie, White Goodman, who is now like binged eat himself into being fat again. And you almost have like a sense of, he got what he deserved, because that dude's a scumbag at the end too. So there is like a little bit of extra payoff, like even after the credits, that kind of is like a feel good thing, I would say.
Yeah.
I have a logline looting for this, and this one is going to be from Tubi this time. So I think maybe the only other one that I pulled off of Tubi is The Abode. But the logline on Tubi says, in an effort to save his business, a gym owner gathers his misfit clients together and enters a dodgeball tournament in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Pretty solid, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably one of the better log lines that we've seen lately, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah. I will say, I think this movie is probably, which I mean, we would have been like 8 when this came out. I probably did not watch it until like sometime in high school, if I had to guess. And I think that this was most likely the first term that I ever even heard the term bisexual used in anything, if I had to guess at the very end.
2004, yeah, maybe.
I mean,
probably.
like I don't even know that I quite understood what that meant at the time, if I'm being honest. And I was actually because I knew we were recording this tonight, I was started listening to the Ringers or the Rewatchables podcast that they did for Dodgeball, and that was one of the things that they mentioned too. And they said that, and I was like, I think that is actually
when you think
something
about it,
that I had a realization of when I watched this for the first time. Was like, I don't think I've ever heard one. I'm not sure if I'd ever heard that term necessarily used at that point in my life, but I'm also not sure that I'd ever heard it, and I'm not sure if I've really ever heard it since then in a movie that I can like vaguely remember. I don't know, for some reason that that scene at the end like really sticks out as something like that. When I watched the first time, I was like, she's what now? Like, what? I'm confused. So,
I didn't know that Rewatchables did a one on Dodgeball. I'm adding it to my
It's
list
from a
right
long
now.
time ago. So yeah, you should take a listen to that one. I don't know. Did you guys have any other like realizations, or maybe you felt the same way about that?
The cast of this movie is pretty dang crazy, and it's not that like that any of them are like huge names, but the combination of people is weird.
Yeah,
Like it's a weird mix of people, but it works. Like all the way through.
I don't know. I mean, the comedies are
You might say it's
comedies
the
are
ultimate cast
interesting
of,
though,
like,
because
that
they have
guy.
some strange like cast lineups as well. But yeah, this one, it might have one of the more notable like casting crews, and yet they probably play some of the strangest characters that they have ever played. Like, no joke.
Yeah.
This was the very first movie poster I ever got.
That's crazy.
I guess because I saw this movie in theaters.
You saw this in theaters when you were like 8 years old?
Yeah.
That was your
I guess
origin
that's how I got
story.
the poster. Yeah, I guess that's how I got the poster. I had like a 16 by 20 movie poster. Very first poster I ever got. Kept it for like 10 years. It said "Grab Life by the Balls" on it. I wish I still had it because those probably sell like crazy on eBay.
Dude, if I had that, I would absolutely never sell that.
Yeah,
There's
so
no shot.
I don't know what happened to it, but it's somewhere out there. This was a very memorable movie. Not just that first theater experience and having the poster, having the first movie experience that I brought something home with, but I was also an FX kid. And I don't know what it was about this movie in FX, but it was on like 3 times a week.
It was on all the time.
And as you know, FX has the movies, and this is one of those movies that they had at that time.
That they had,
always
in
played.
fact.
Yeah. So I had seen this movie so many times, but what surprised me upon rewatching it recently was like how many quotes and pieces from this movie have leaked into public discourse.
More than you would think.
Modern day. Like,
I'm surprised that the bold strategy thing is still like around as much as it is.
Yeah, yeah. Like, there are so many one-liners in this that I still quote without realizing it was from Dodgeball.
Like what?
Donde está la biblioteca? Like, that's... Everyone has said that.
Yeah, it's a
Who knew that
great
was
gag.
from Dodgeball? I did, but who
Yeah.
nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
There's just so many good, especially Ben Stiller lines in this. The fact that, what else was in there?
You
You
know,
can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's
How
true.
many times have we
Yep.
said that?
People used to say that all the time in high school.
ESPN and the Ocho,
ESPN the Ocho is massive.
they still reference that. Yeah.
Yep.
One thing that
Dude,
Braxton
they should make
and
it
I,
real.
Yeah, one thing that Braxton and I pointed out last night was like how much of Ben Stiller's dialogue was actually scripted out and how much was him just making crap up on the spot. Just like
Probably very little was scripted.
there were so many
Yeah.
times where he would say something and I'm like, there's no way that someone would write that in a script.
Yeah.
Like that's just him off the cuff, just being an idiot.
You know what I realized too, now that I think about it? I bet the scripted part, because Because what him and Peter Vince Vaughn have like antagonistic dialogue like what 10 or 15 times in the movie, and he's usually like the aggressor.
Probably.
I bet that the beginning part is scripted, where they engage each other. And if you've noticed, every single time of those 15 times, it ends with Ben Stiller saying something weird or like nonsensical, and then it cuts to Vince Vaughn's like reaction shot where he's like, I bet every single one of those like awkward endings, that's Ben Stiller just being like, just riffing until he can make the conversation awkward, and then they both walk away from each other.
Oh,
And then we move on to the next scene. And
Yeah.
it just works.
I mean, I don't know. There's so I can't even remember what the one was last night that when he said it, I was like, he just made that up. Like 100% he made that up. Because it didn't make much sense.
I wouldn't doubt it. Ben Stiller's in quite a few of those where it's like, how did this actually get made? Like, who saw promise in this?
Yeah.
And of course, they turned out to be wonderful movies, but I just wonder how compelling he is in a pitch room, helping these things get made.
Well, this movie might be the ultimate example, like among all of those that you're talking about. Because, like, what is this movie about? Like, what the hell is this movie about? Why was it made? Why, like, I mean, like the premise, like the premise of it being like it being about dodgeball, and they have to play dodgeball to win their gym back. Like the premise of this movie is like this thin. It's all just a thing for people to make jokes and have character stuff about, which I love. But I feel like this movie more than any other one, like the dodgeball thing is just a weird vehicle that they randomly picked on a dartboard to have the movie be about, so that they can have Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller go against each other.
It's like somewhere there was a writer that just randomly had this thought pop into his head, and he goes, "What if there was a dodgeball team full of like
people who aren't good at dodgeball?"
Apparently, this is based on some book.
Really?
What?
That's what I saw on IMDb.
Of all the movies I would have ever guessed to be based on a book, it was not this one.
It would have made so much sense if there was a writer that was like, what if there's a dodgeball team called Skills That Kills?
Uh-huh.
We should make a whole movie just so we can use that joke.
I mean,
And
it
that's probably what happened.
It wouldn't surprise me. Speaking of the dodgeball teams, I actually have a list that I pulled. So there are 32 teams in this Las Vegas tournament, 16 of which are identified by name or shown in competition at some point on screen. And the names of these teams are Average Joes, Globo Gym Purple Cobras, Flying Cougars, Team Blitzkrieg, Kamikazes, Skills That Kills, Las Vegas Police Department, Lumberjacks, MILFs, Moose Knuckles, Clown Punchers, Mulchers, She Mullets, Wedgies, Yetis, and Pouncers. Yep. Some interesting names in there for sure.
As I was watching it and seeing the other teams, it almost felt like a video game where like every other character like has to have like some sort of stupid theme, but you, the main character, are just a guy.
Yeah.
But everyone else can't just be a guy. They have to have some sort of,
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is there a team of lumberjacks? And why, when they fall, does it play a tree falling sound effect?
It's great. The sound effects in this movie are pretty crazy, just across the board. The most egregious of which is the one where the cheerleader gets off of.
Crazy.
Justin.
So that should have won the Oscar for sound design.
Yeah. Like it almost makes you want to kind of throw up when you hear that sound. Not gonna lie, it's pretty gross.
Oh man,
it is pretty.
Justin
gross.
Long's performance in this movie is amazing. Like he's so funny.
They said I saw something earlier where apparently, like the writer, as he was writing the parts for Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, and Justin Long, like had them in mind already. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow.
And the reason that Justin Long was considered was because of his performance in Galaxy Quest.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen Galaxy Quest.
I still love one of my favorite setups and payoffs, even though it's so stupid, is when Justin Long in this movie is like, I hope he falls off the roller coaster and breaks every bone in his body. And then the cheerleader.
What happened to him?
He doesn't. Well, Justin Long actually doesn't say anything about it. It's the
other guy.
It's the other guy. He says that guy seems like the kind of
cousin?
guy who would fall off a roller coaster and break every bone in his body. And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, it happened to my cousin. He boop and died." Yeah, it's pretty great, man. There's a lot
That's
of
like
just
the anti
random
screenwriting
stuff.
payoff. It's something insane is casually mentioned, and then it's shoehorned back in later.
Well, and I think that it's funny that we don't end up really seeing that guy, because there is a deleted scene that we watched last night after we got done where like there's a scene they cut out where that guy who fell off the roller coaster is in a full body cast laying on a stretcher, like watching them perform.
And like he's like screaming and angry.
Yeah, he's like screaming and angry that Justin is taking his place. It's pretty, dude. It's pretty funny. And one of the other deleted scenes that we watched last night that I thought probably actually should have been like in the movie was the one with the, I can't remember what the guy's name is. His character name in the movie. He's like the nerdy one with like the goggles that he wears and has a wife and 2 kids.
Mm-hmm. The actor's name is Stephen Root, but I forget what.
I can't remember what his name is. His character's name is. But there was like an extended scene, like after he, sees his wife kind of getting hit on or flirting with like another guy in the stands while they're playing, and like goes on a tear, completely destroys the other team, wins the match for him, and there is almost like an awkward that I've noticed like every time I've watched it, where there's like an awkward like pause almost as it goes to the next scene, because it almost just seems like it cut off prematurely. And it turns out that it did, because in this deleted scene, like his kids come out and they're all excited, and his wife walks out and he's like, I want a divorce, which I felt like would have really paid off and actually probably hit really well in the movie. And I was kind of surprised that was one that they cut out.
Yeah, that's true. It also really made me laugh in the scene because he's like happy and jumping with his kids, and then he goes, I want a divorce. Yep. And he speaks in a deeper voice than normal.
Yeah, he does.
I want a divorce.
Christian, I have a question for you. So Steve the Pirate in this movie, I don't even know if this is just going to be a funny discussion. How historically accurate is Steve the Pirate?
Well, based on what I know and what I remember, I would say somewhere in the middle. He really nails the kind of accent that we talked about like the very beginning of the show.
Yeah,
he really
West
follows
Country.
along this line of what is a stereotypical TV and movie pirate, and he plays it so well. And I think part of the reason he plays it so well is because that actor, Alan Tudyk, when he was first becoming an actor, he went to Longworth College, which was a Methodist-based small college.
It's so weird.
With
It's
a good
so
acting
weird.
program in Jacksonville, where we all grew up.
That's
And
so
so there's
weird.
something about the Jacksonville environment that really like prepares you to not only play but talk about pirates.
There we go. You brought. Okay, I was wondering where in the world
Where
you were
where
landed
that was
plane.
headed.
Not only that, but he was really good at A Knight's Tale. And
He was
I've also
amazing in A
recently
Knight's Tale.
found out that he was the voice and motion capture for the robot in iRobot, but he was not listed
like
by
uncredited.
name on the poster. I think he was mostly uncredited because when they were showing it to test audiences, he was testing higher and more favorable than Will Smith. And so the movie was like, yeah, get his name off there.
As the robot was testing higher?
As the robot was testing higher.
That's
like the
crazy.
audiences liked him and sympathized with him.
Yeah,
more than
and
Will
they think
Smith.
that if they would have like put his name on the poster of the movie, like on the top billing, people might have been like, "Oh, he was amazing in this. Like, we need to give him some sort of award, or like this was his movie." When the studio was like, "Nope, we are making this Will Smith's movie," this is Will Smith's time to shine. Like Will Smith is the vehicle for us selling this. So yeah, I guess he was
and
a
then he
good
went on to
sport
play
about
many
it.
more robots.
Yeah.
Famously playing K2SO in Rogue One, Andor.
He just must be a good robot guy.
Yeah, and he did some other robot. I don't remember which one.
Don't
and he was the
ask
chicken,
me.
wasn't he?
But I have something else here about Alan Tudyk. Do you want to know another reason why he was so good as Steve the Pirate in this?
What?
So apparently before he came onto this movie, he was part of a canceled television series. Like, I guess this movie was after his TV series was canceled, which is a TV series called Firefly from 2002. And he starred as pilot Hoban Washburn. And the series was actually about pirates living and working in outer space trying to make a living.
I guess they're pirates.
That's what it says, which is wild. He had...
Get this. If you go on his Wikipedia page for early life, he had a brief attempt at becoming a stand-up comic. I don't know if this was it says he was raised in Plano, graduated from Plano Senior High School. Had a brief experience as a stand-up comic before quitting after an angry audience member threatened to kill him.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's actually really funny.
I don't know if that was in Dallas or if that would have been in Jacksonville. But he did study drama at the Methodist-affiliated Longworth College in Jacksonville, Texas, where he won the Academic Excellence Award for drama.
That's so weird.
Someone threatened to kill him doing stand-up.
I want to meet him someday. He's someone who I'd really love to meet and have a conversation with.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Does he have a fan mail thing? Do you think we could write him a letter and be like, what was the joke?
I wonder if we could just have him on the podcast at some point. Like, that would be even better because we could just ask him.
Fun.
And what kind of a joke do you have to tell for someone to want to kill you?
Well, I mean, if crowd work goes wrong, if you're trying to do that, you know what I mean? That could happen easily.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're trying to play with somebody and you're like, haha, yeah, right, man. And then they're like, shut up.
Yeah, right. Yo, mama.
I'll be seeing you in the parking lot.
He plays Steve the Pirate extremely well, man. Like, he nails the accent. Like, even at the end, one of my favorite quotes from him from the entire movie is at the very end when he, sort of is out of, the typical, Pirate Steve character. And he shows him the buried treasure, and he goes, "Yar, Peter."
Yeah, right. Where it comes back on again.
Guys.
What in the world did you just find?
I have found an article, sci-fi.com, the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
Published last March. Resident Aliens Alan Tudyk used to do stand-up comedy until he got death threats. That's the title. Subtitle. Before settling in Patience, Colorado, Tudyk was escaping homicidal comedy patrons in Jacksonville, Texas.
No.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
If you're an aspiring comedian and you get offered a gig to perform at the Holiday Inn in Jacksonville, Texas, run far away, very far away. We need to perform live on set at the Holiday Inn.
No.
And have him, and have him join remotely.
No.
You're thinking like Nathan Fielder here. You're using Nathan Fielder brain.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that would be insane. That'd be too much. Holy crap. That is wild, though. Of course it was here. Of course it's not Plano where he's from.
Yeah.
Of course it was here while he was in college.
Me?
You said something about my daughter. I'm gonna kill you. Oh man! So in addition to Alan Tudyk, I don't even know that I know off the top of my head who this is. But do y'all know who Ken Marino is? Am I supposed to know? What is so funny? Am I supposed to know who that is?
No, I'm just reading about this article.
Oh, he's not
Who's
even paying
Ken Marino?
attention.
Is he
Well, so,
football?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's some actor, but apparently he auditioned for the role of Steve the Pirate, and for the audition he dressed in a full pirate costume, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
he would show up in like full pirate costume because I doubt Alan Tudyk did, and he's probably the one that should have since he got it. Apparently, also, White Goodman says that nobody makes him bleed his own blood. And apparently that is an homage to Nelson Muntz saying, "You made me bleed my own blood" on The Simpsons.
Oh.
Yep, it's a 1989 episode, Bart the General. So it's kind of cool, too.
I do have a little piece of trivia here because we discussed this during it. We discussed how Justin Long was playing a high school student, and he was obviously older than that to the point of that being funny. He was 26 or 25 when they filmed this, so
Really?
he wasn't that old.
Okay, I would.
But he obviously was not
or something.
he was basically 25 playing like supposed to be like a 15-year-old or something. But it still worked as a gag though. If immediately when you see him, you're like,
Yeah.
It's to the point of that's a gag that he's playing a high school student, like
He just looks older.
mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't even, I don't know. Maybe it's just us. Maybe like other people would think he's in a high school, but man, it just doesn't appear like he would be a high schooler.
Yeah.
So, David Hasselhoff also has a cameo in this as the coach for the German
There's
team.
tons of cameos in this. More than I ever remember.
Lots of cameos. But apparently David Hasselhoff was like a last minute addition, which I think is partly why you don't see him at all until like after the team loses. Apparently like one of the stunt coordinators, whose name is Alex Daniel, mentioned that he knew Hasselhoff personally. And so he got him to come and like be disappointed and hold up his Baywatch photo and throw it on the ground and like break the picture frame. So that was pretty cool. There's tons of cameos. David Hasselhoff, I did not know until when Braxton told me last night, is apparently like uber famous in Germany. Did not really know that was a thing. So yeah, that was news to me. What else was news to me was Braxton said that there is a movie that Ben Stiller is in that is very, very similar in character to White Goodman.
Yes.
Would you care to talk about that?
Yeah, so there's a Disney movie from the 90s that doesn't seem like it's a Disney movie, but it is. Live
Back
action.
when Disney made good stuff.
And it's called Heavyweights, and it's about overweight kids who go to a fat camp, and hijinks ensue.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very, very well made movie, and it's very heartfelt and funny. It's very well done. But Ben Stiller plays the villain in that movie, probably 10 years before he played the villain in this one.
Yeah.
And I would say, as far as character similarities in a movie, they're like 90% similar, like just the same character. Because in the movie, he's like a fitness freak. He's less dumb. He's actually pretty smart in Heavyweights, but very, very similar character. He has crazy hair. He has the same crazy eyes. He's, obsessed with fitness and is basically, punishing these kids in the movie, and like he's a great villain that you love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of, I remember this was one of the things like vaguely when I first got on Reddit, like back in like 2014 or something. I remember seeing this as one of the first like people like come up with like their own like fan theories and like understanding what that was. And that was one of the first fan theories I saw, was that Tony Perkis from Heavyweights, after the events of Heavyweights became White Goodman, essentially, that they're the same guy. But I will say he's funnier in this. Like, this is the sort of the funny version of it. He's actually somewhat scary in Heavyweights, even though that's a children's movie.
He's scary?
Yeah, because he plays it so like there's parts of the movie where he plays it so like insane that he's scary. Like there's a part where he throws a bottle on the ground and walks on glass.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that makes White Goodman looks kind of seem tame.
I know.
In comparison. My gosh. Something else that was news to me as well, which Christian, I don't know if you know this, but Braxton told me last night that Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor, who plays Kate, are married. And I looked it up earlier. Apparently they have been married since 2000, so they were married during the filming of this, for sure.
I think they got married after they were in Zoolander.
Wow.
I had no idea. That was news to me.
Which, that makes it funnier, the whole... What does he even say? When he's like, something freaky, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He says something along those lines, which in
we
the
should
outtakes,
mate. What was that? I said we should date.
Yeah. And then, like in the blooper reel, like he couldn't keep a straight face trying to say that line at the door to her.
Yeah.
Freaky. Like they also like actually played dodgeball in this movie, which I thought was crazy. So apparently, like a month before filming, everyone like started playing dodgeball and like learned how to play dodgeball for the movie. And like all of the scenes of them training where like balls are hitting them or even wrenches are hitting them. Apparently the wrenches were made of rubber.
Yeah.
But like a couple of them were very hard. And so like I think I want to say it was Justin Long gets hit with the wrench first. Apparently that one was like harder than the rest of them and it like actually cut him. So
they probably had to go back and like remake them.
I don't know if they did or if they just left it in, but yeah, apparently he had like a big gash from where it hit him, which is also pretty crazy. Like the training for dodgeball in this movie is outrageous, and I think
it's Home Alone levels of like cartoon violence. Where like if that actually happened to you, you would be dead.
Well, like the first thing Patches
if a
does
wrench
is
hits you in the head,
hits him in the head with a wrench.
That would just kill you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it would kill you, but
but it has the possibility of doing.
Yeah, but you would also be like very, very injured from that.
Yeah. But that's why like cartoon physics in like the real world are always funny.
Well, and I think maybe one of the good things about this movie too is that they understand and like even pointed out in the movie that it is ridiculous. Like I think Vince Vaughn's character, like Peter says, is this really necessary? And Patch is like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And like it's like if you can dodge anything, you can dodge a ball because you go and like get hit by cars in traffic. And like you just have the most insane training regimen to go and play dodgeball. Like we all played dodgeball at some point in PE. It doesn't take that much training, which I mean, maybe, they're trying to win the tournament, but like, holy crap, man, it's not worth like being bruised up and almost dying over.
Our rules were a little different. We used the softer dodgeballs. We didn't use the ADA rubber ones that would definitely cut you.
Yeah, I mean, when you get hit with the ones we played with in PE, you also don't go flying back 20 yards. So
no.
I mean, there's that too.
I remember in school, people used to throw like the dodgeball so hard, like people who actually had like athleticism, not me, far from me. It would go so fast that you could hear like it displacing the air. Mm-hmm. It would be like whoosh. It'd be like this as that was happening, and like I was like there witnessing it. I was like, this is just unfair. Like everything they say about dodgeball in this movie, about what does he say? It's a game of humiliation and all that stuff. I was like, that's absolutely true. Like dodgeball is a completely unfair, rigged game that is meant to
me and Christian
destroy
are probably
children.
one of those people that would just launch it at people.
Yeah,
I got to a point where you could like throw it and it would rise as it was going up and it would hit the wall and it would like be super loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember playing
hit the foam part of the wall.
I remember playing dodgeball against Christian's dad when we were in elementary school. So, and you want to know a funny story about my dodgeball experience with Christian's dad? He only got me on this once because after that, you learn your lesson, and I got him out like every time he tried to do it since then. But your dad, as sneaky as he was while we were in elementary school and like, I don't know, second or third grade probably, would play dodgeball with us, and he would never be on my team because I was one of the better ones that was playing dodgeball. So your dad would pick up 2 dodgeballs. He'd hide one behind his back, and he would come up and throw the other one like high into the air. And while you were looking up at it, he would just peg you like directly in the chest.
Oh my God.
And so the first time he did it, he got me, just pegged me. I was out. The second time, I immediately, like when I look back at him as he's throwing it, just snag it. He was like, so like, wow, this kid got me. Like, what a genius. That's the greatest play I've ever seen. But your dad was so sneaky about these freaking dodgeball games where he would just like get people out all the time for doing dumb stuff like that. So I think there was one where he did it to like another kid, and he like rolled a ball on the ground, and as the kid went down to pick it up, just pegged him.
The visual of that is so funny. Just boom.
Yeah, just pegged him. But yeah,
Hey,
I remember
he's teaching great life lessons,
dude.
I mean,
Yeah,
really.
for sure. But yeah, I like have a very vivid memory of your dad throwing a ball up into the air. It was probably like purple, and the one he hit me with was like green, if I'm remembering correctly. But he like throws this ball up in the air. I'm looking up, about to catch it. I'm like, I got him. He's going to make this easy. He's just getting out for free. We're going to win. And
Kaboom.
he just pegs me off my chest. And I was like, I literally felt like White Goodman getting hit at the end where you like get hit
Or
and
you
you like
flew back.
fly backwards. No joke. It was pretty great.
That's amazing.
Your dad scarred me for life, apparently.
Right. Yeah, because it's still in there. It's right there in your brain.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Pretty great. Dude, dodgeball was so fun. I also have another one where we were playing dodgeball at church, and I don't know if we had the softballs. We might have been playing with rubber balls at that point. And I like dove and caught this ball and got somebody out and
You
stood
dived.
up and immediately, I was dodge, duck, dip, diving and dodging all over the place. I immediately like stand up and fling this ball at somebody, and they ducked, one of the 5Ds, and it hit Brett's wife in the face. Which this is while we were like in high school or
mutual
something.
friend, Brett.
But yeah, she was just standing at the wall like chilling, and I was like, it's her fault. She was in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So I was not trying to hit her, but yeah, hit her in the face,
Yeah.
and I think that was the end of dodgeball at church for a while.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I've had a few of those. Like especially when people are sitting, like when they're out
Like,
and on the side.
You are in the line
You
of
try to
fire.
make one of those corner throws, and then you might barely miss, or they like dodge it in the last second, and then you just see it in slow motion
Yes.
tracking this person's face,
Uh-huh.
and it never hits them anywhere else. It's
They're-
always a direct shot to the face.
Yeah, they're at like perfect face hitting height, just hanging out back there. Braxton was
I have
probably
a-
one of those, right?
Yep. Yep. I have a question though.
Uh huh.
Is the Lance Armstrong cameo funnier after like the steroids thing? It is, right?
I think so.
Like
You
it's
know-
funnier that he's in the movie after the whole like scandal and stuff.
Yeah, probably. You know, the only thing that I can think about when I see that scene now is freaking Christian's friends saying "Ball out, Lance Armstrong" in that one song. That's all I can think about.
That was a verse in his song. Was
Uh-huh.
"Ball Out, Lance Armstrong"?
Yeah, I think Luke Jennison is the one that says that.
Yeah, that is a famous Luke Jennison line.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's so funny in the fact that it's in an airport bar. And when he was like, when I was, he's like, I'm sure you have a good excuse for quitting on your entire team.
The fact that one of his lines is, "So what are you dying of that's preventing you from?"
Uh-huh.
There's way more cameos in this movie than I ever remember. Like, why is William Shatner in this movie? Like, he doesn't even do anything funny or interesting. He's just also the judge. And he's William Shatner. Which Chuck Norris is the one that makes it worth it, right? It's
Yeah.
The whole this was in the peak time of like the Chuck Norris, like it may have even been like the origin of some of the Chuck Norris memes of bringing him back into the consciousness after like his run in the 80s. Like his appearance in this movie may have started the, Chuck Norris doesn't, whatever.
I'm sure this was like during the height of all that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love that scene specifically for the cinematography where like they start out at one judge and slowly pan to the next. And then there's like an extra long pause before they like somewhat more quickly move over to Chuck Norris, who's just like thumbs up. Yeah, it's just great. Can you imagine watching it? Well, I guess Christian can. What was that like watching it in the theater in 2004?
Funny. Is that what you
don't remember?
Yeah, I
don't remember. This movie was a gigantic piece of my childhood. I had a poster for 10 years, but I do not remember the Chuck Norris.
Look, it's just a long time ago. Okay?
I never remember.
This is 21 years ago.
Man.
I mean, it had to
I
have
don't
been
think I knew who
huge.
Chuck Norris was back then.
You might not have. Might not have.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah,
You saw him later, and you're like, "Hey, that's the guy from Dodgeball."
That's the guy from Dodgeball. Oh man! And can we talk about the commentary for a minute?
The best like color commentary gag in a movie ever, maybe.
Also, Jason Bateman is insane. Like he just looks insane.
Why is he dressed like that? Why is his hair like that? Why is he
looks
playing
like-
a character like that?
He looks like he should be in like a skate movie, and they pulled him off the street to come in there and talk about Dodgeball.
It's also really because he's playing totally against the normal type that he plays, and he's still funny. Like that,
Dude, he's so funny.
That proves like how funny, like he actually is.
Well, and can you imagine? Which I don't know if that was scripted or if that was just something he said. But can you imagine him delivering the line? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. Not realizing that at some point that might be one of the most quoted lines ever in cinema history.
Mm. Also, the way he sits in the chair. He never just sits in the chair. He's always like,
he's always got like a foot up or something. Yeah, he's always in some odd position.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to see very well.
oh yeah, when he puts on the blindfold.
He makes some great comments.
And then the other announcer is Uncle Rico, isn't he?
Really?
Isn't he? Isn't that Uncle Rico?
I didn't realize that.
I know he's Ricky Bobby's dad.
Wait, is he really? He's
Isn't
Ricky
the guy that's
Bobby's
Uncle Rico?
dad?
Uncle Rico is also in White Lotus. Seasons 2 and 3.
Oh no, wait, different guy. Different guy. Uncle Rico is a different guy. I'm thinking of he's the dad in Ricky Bobby. This announcer.
Oh, okay.
I did not make that connection at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You got 2
interesting.
kilos of Colombian Bam Bam beneath the car.
Oh my gosh. So there is a specific scene which we do not have a clip of, unfortunately, today, because the only one that I could find on YouTube was someone recording their TV with their phone and uploaded that. So, but there's basically one like big scene where basically all of the pirate tropes take place. There's like one or two, at the end, but for the most part, like the majority of them come in this one scene, and it's right at the beginning of the movie. Peter LaFleur is walking out of the gym down a hallway, and Steve the Pirate comes over and like kind of pushes him up against the wall and like has a knife out and proceeds to talk in a West Country accent and say about every piratey thing that they could possibly think of to put in the script. So Braxton, how does our pirate bingo look for Dodgeball?
Pretty good. Probably not as good as you think because there's a lot of vague piratisms, but not many specific ones.
Piratisms?
But yeah. But let me say this: there's obviously a treasure chest at the end. He says "mate." He says "arr." I marked parlay or mention of pirate code because he talks about. What does he talk about? He talks about bartering something for his gym membership or something like that. And he says something like, "My word is my bond." So I was like, okay, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has the accent. He gets hit by a dodgeball in the training sequence, and after that, he's wearing an eye patch. Before, he is not, but he takes the opportunity to wear an eye patch after
He actually gets hit by a wrench.
Oh, a wrench, excuse me. Right.
Yeah.
They do say the word pirate, as in Steve the Pirate, and he does have a pierced ear. So actually, that makes I don't have the full past rankings here, but I can tell you this: Dodgeball does beat out on Pirate Bingo Captain Phillips and the Abode.
Wow. That's
and
impressive.
I think Fool's Gold.
The only thing that I'm not sure that you said that I think might have been, we can kind of talk about this for a second. Was there an unnecessarily shirtless guy
On the crew? When they do the car wash, does that count?
Because they are almost all shirtless at that point, right?
At the car wash, yes.
Does that count?
Yeah, sure.
Because they were
why
maybe
not?
necessarily shirtless, but they also were in
Playing
Speedos
chaps.
and definitely didn't have to be shirtless.
We have a pirate on our team?
And also, I love it cuts back what probably is maybe 20 minutes of time has passed in the real world, and he's still trying to explain.
And then
this
he
guy
shows up at the end and he said, "Hey, it's Steve the Pirate." And he looks at him like, "Dude, are you kidding me? We hashed this out for half an hour earlier."
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I will say, I don't know. I am, I do like to bring it back to the pirate stuff. I do like the Steve the Pirate stuff. I don't know. It's so stupid. Obviously, it's just meant to be a joke character. But I don't know. There is something in there where, when Peter gets mad at him, right, in his, basically moment of weakness when the world is weighing down on him, and he yells, because he yells at him and he says, "You're not a pirate," which I guess deep down, Steve the Pirate knows he's not really a pirate. But I don't know. They're at the ending when he says, "Who am I going to share the buried treasure with?" And he kind of comes back around. I don't know. It just makes you feel good.
Oh, dude, it makes you feel so good.
It fits with the theme of the movie, right? Of, you can come to whatever this place, this group of people, and be accepted sort of as, whoever you are, even if you're have delusions of being a pirate.
Well, and this point necessarily doesn't have anything to do with what they were trying to accomplish with the movie. But is that something that maybe an actual pirate would have gone through at some point? Like maybe you are on a pirate crew and you're doing a lowly job that almost you wouldn't consider to be a pirate. And so you're having some sort of internal struggle of am I actually a pirate if I'm just cleaning the deck or cleaning barnacles off the ship or something like that. And then you try to go back to civilian life and realize maybe I actually am more of a pirate than I think I am. So I don't know. I mean, that was definitely not something that they were trying to accomplish, but it it could have been a real thing.
Yeah. But that's how you know it's a comedy, though, and not a drama. Because in a drama, he would be cured and be a normal man again, and that would be the triumph. But because it's a comedy, he becomes a pirate again. And even though that's not really an accomplishment,
go back to Treasure Island.
It still makes you feel good. And it's also, why was he being abused in Las Vegas? Do you know how many freaks are walking around Las Vegas?
I know, of all the places.
All he is casual. He's just dressed as a pirate, and he's getting crap thrown at him.
He could have just gotten out of some kind of pirate show at some place in
there
Las Vegas, and he's
those.
walking home on the strip.
There's two pirate ships that fight each other.
Yeah.
Which again, it's a comedy, right? Who would verbally abuse someone dressed as a pirate walking down the street?
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, dude, it's just goofy. It doesn't make any sense because you see way weirder stuff going down the street in Las Vegas.
There's also, I want to point out, speaking of Reddit again, there's a post from 13 years ago on the subreddit called Fan Theories, and the title of the post is Dodgeball, Steve the Pirate is an ex-Navy sailor with PTSD. And then they proceed to write about like about a 10-paragraph essay on why they. And it ends with their commentary being like, if this is all true, then this is one of like the saddest endings for a character in any movie. Like he falls back into his own delusion at the end of the movie.
Oh my gosh. That's too much thinking, man.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
Yeah, it's fan theories, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go
I
a
love
little
those.
too deep sometimes.
When they take a comedy and they make it like so dark. It's just like a kid's movie. It'd be like over the head. The fan theory would be like, this is purgatory.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's always they're in purgatory. You know what the other one I hate too is like seeing as a kid so many times like, you know, the SpongeBob characters represent the 7 deadly. No, they don't. No, they don't. Like, and it's all every time someone does the whole 7 deadly sin things. It's like, okay, yeah, they're like you go through 3 of them and you're like, oh, this is kind of, and then you get to like the other half of them and you're like, this is complete BS. This is such a stretch. It's so dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is interesting though because some of them, like, I mean, they are pretty spot on to being a 7 deadly.
Oh
sin,
my god!
But like, there's that was not the intent of writing these characters.
Right. That's what
you were just probably looking around at like random
intent.
Archetypes of people and like, hey, let's have one that's like, you know, that's a businessman. They're obsessed with money. Let's have one that's an outcast, and so she lives in some kind of weird, you know, bubble under the sea or something. I mean,
it's basically character archetypes and not the sin thing. But yeah, you know, the characters in Dodgeball actually represent the 7 deadly sins.
Shut your mouth right now. There's only 6 of them on the court at a time.
Plus Patrick, who is killed by a falling sign that says "Luck of the Irish."
He is. Yes, he is.
They comment on how ironically he died.
Now, I do have a question for you guys. If we were going to compare White Goodman to some sort of villain in another pirate movie that we have seen, or that you have seen that we've not watched on the podcast, who would you compare him to?
To another pirate type movie?
Yeah.
Hook.
Yeah, Hook. Yeah, because he's yeah, he has a lot of people that follow him. He has some success, but he's sort of also dumb.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I don't know that I would necessarily compare him to a Davy Jones either, because those people are there because of some other reason.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my justification for him being Hook. He is playing along in this dreamland, and it's almost as if he like doesn't have a real reason to be there. He's just
why does he hate them?
This antagonistic force that's like only written in, and there's no actual motivation for it.
You're right. You're so
He's just kind of there, and it's just like this cyclical thing. Like
he only exists to be the villain.
Out on top, but he only exists to be the villain.
You're not wrong.
That's so good. Oh,
you're not wrong. That is a really good comparison, I feel like.
Yeah. I just want more movies like this. I want more movies where like nothing matters. Nothing matters in this movie. It's just a vehicle for people to do their funny thing.
Well,
but there's enough of a heart in it that you feel good at the end of it when it's a happy ending.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those where we need to find some kind of way back to a movie like this, because it's an original idea, it has no other really connected IP to it. It's just some funny people being funny.
Yeah,
and
made
like
cheaply
Naked
and made
Gun
a ton of money.
Is probably the closest. The new Naked Gun movie is probably the closest thing that we've gotten to this in a long time, I would say. And even then, like that's based off of prior IP. Like we need something original that's also funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Naked Gun is the most recent movie poster I have gotten. So,
is it him with the legs out?
Yeah, they've gotten.
Oh no, wait! You're talking about the one where he's. I want you to pull my finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to pull my finger.
Yeah. But yeah, no, dude. I mean, like this movie's fantastic. It's super, super funny. It would, I don't know, probably be towards the top of like my comedy list in terms of things that I just enjoy and will sit down and have a laugh at. I mean, I was almost in tears, and I've seen this movie a bunch.
Now,
It's just good.
we talk about the positives and negatives of this all the time. Would you want, or how would you feel if they said 2026, Dodgeball 2?
So there actually was a sequel that was planned several years ago, apparently. And
Oh, really? And it just never happened.
they asked Ben Stiller about it, and he was like, I've never heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at one point it was a potential thing on the horizon, and then I think it got scrapped. So
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, there is a chance,
so
like
poorly received.
there is a chance that could happen. I mean, I would be all for it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I would almost prefer them though to make a similar movie,
Make a new idea, but bring like the cast.
Yeah, same
and more
cast, but
people
like
to,
new idea. So I just feel like even if you got those guys together to help like write the script, like it would be funny enough and people would go watch it, specifically for the cast of characters. Because I mean, Ben Stiller's big, Vince Vaughn's big. I mean, those two alone would be enough draw to bring a bunch of people to the movie theater to watch it.
Nathan Gunn has at least shown that if you take enough big names and you put them into something that looks at least decently funny, there's a summer comedy hit.
Yeah, and something else we were talking about was that Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson need to get back together and have some sort of like reunion comedy.
Make a movie
deal.
every year until they die. Like it would.
Or even every couple years. It doesn't have to be every year.
Well, I know,
but like, there's no reason that those guys should not still be making movies together right now. Like I don't know, they've made too many good ones.
Yeah.
To not. Okay, well, let's get into our ratings. So if you're new here, you're unfamiliar with our ratings. Braxton always forgets, but it is called the Pieces of 8. We have a scale of 0 to 8 for a general rating of the movie, as well as a piratiness score, which is how piratey that we think the movie is on a scale of 0 to 8 as well. So, Braxton, I guess I'll give you a second because I know you're a slacker and never have your stuff together. So I'll go first.
I have everything together except for the ratings.
Yeah. You should just put it in your sheet, and that way you have it done every time. So I gave this 5 stars on Letterboxd, but for some reason I didn't want to give it an 8 out of 8 on here. So my general rating for Dodgeball is a 7.5 out of 8. So, I mean, it's very, very good. I absolutely love this movie. And I think the only reason that kept me from giving it an 8 was, do I think this is as good as Pirates of the Caribbean, which would be a benchmark for giving something an 8. And I think I landed on no. So 7.5 out of 8 for general score. And then piratiness, I mean, let's be honest, guys. Like, this is very loosely even a pirate adjacent movie. If there was not a Pirate Steve character in this movie, a Steve the Pirate character, this would not even be on our list at all in any way, shape, or form, even if there was some kind of weird buried treasure like chest thing at the end when he gets his winnings. So I've given this a 2 out of 8. I mean, there are a few things that stand out in terms of, being a pirate, but I mean, without Steve the Pirate and his West Country accent and his, get up that he's got on, I mean, this would be a flat out 0 and wouldn't even make the show. So
I would give it a 7 and a 3.
A 3.
Yep. I just think maybe in movies where pirates are used as a comedic gag, this is the only one that I can think of. But I would assume that this would be at the top of those. And I really like that this is one of those characters where a pirate is just thrown into something that has nothing to do with piracy. And we all just collectively remember it and have such fond memories of it for 2 decades. So I would give it a strong 3. And although it is only 3 out of 8, I will say the 3 that it does have are very shiny. The pieces of 8 are nice and pretty. So
I would give it a 7 out of 8 on quality. And on piratyness, I would give it a 1 out of 8.
A 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Why
it's
1?
Just because I think that's the percentage that piratyness has to do with the runtime of the movie. I think it's probably 1/8 of the whole thing, if that.
No, 1/6 of the scene, but
It's true.
But
Until the finale.
So that's why.
Like
we
we
should put that chest with their winnings into the Hall of Fame.
It's pretty cool. What does it say on the front of it again?
I don't remember.
I would go as far as say induct Alan Tudyk into the Pirate Cinema Hall of Fame for that character.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
let's put Alan.
How
Tudyk in
memorable it was.
there. Yeah. Yeah. God, I want to watch A Knight's Tale now.
I want to know what joke he told at the Holiday Inn.
Oh, it says Deus Ex Machina on the front of the treasure chest.
It says Deus Ex Machina.
Uh-huh.
That's so great. That's so good.
Yeah.
You know what y'all know what that means, right?
I mean, I know
Vaguely.
Yeah. What does it mean for the people on listening?
Well, it's this is not a good explanation of it, but it's basically like the twist ending that's like too convenient. Or not too convenient, but like it's something that comes out of the plot to like resolve something, but it's not like earned, and it's not a bad thing. Like the treasure chest at the end is not a bad thing. You're not disappointed by the treasure chest.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's a Deus Ex Machina because like, okay, oh no, they actually did win. Okay,
It's
inexplicably.
Deus Ex Machina?
Huh?
Deus Ex Machina?
I've heard it said different ways,
Okay. I didn't know how to say it, honestly.
but yeah.
Interesting. Well, it's almost time for us to take this ship to port, but before we do, we wanted to make sure you found our proverbial message in a bottle detailing next month's movie of choice. So coming October 10th, we're throwing it back to our childhood with one of our favorites just in time for spooky season. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is what we're watching next, guys. A fan favorite.
I can't believe it.
Fan favorite. We are the fans. Us.
I'm excited. We watched it last year.
We did. It came out on Blu-ray. We sat down and watched
it again.
It's really good. Looks amazing on Blu-ray as well. If you're a Blu-ray collector and would like to, if you haven't already, buy Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. It's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very pirate adjacent once again. So we're hitting a.
It's
hitting a
more
couple
piratey than this one, I think.
We're hitting a couple pirate adjacents. So I don't know if I would say.
Well,
it's
we
more
wanted a
piratey than this one or
Halloween
not.
one.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I
I'd
think
say
this
it's more
fits well.
piratey, but it's definitely spooky. So be a good one for October. I think that's going to about do it for us here this month. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We hope you enjoyed Dodgeball, and we can't wait for you to join us on our next adventure.